Hello everyone, welcome in today as Florida is going to take on Georgia here in Jacksonville in the rivalry game formerly known as the world's largest cocktail party. Georgia comes in with a severe disadvantage as their star starting quarterback Elijah Benson is hurt and he will not play today. They're forced to use a freshman quarterback against us and they're ranked number 7 and they're 6-1 on the season. They need this victory. Florida comes in 6-1 as well, however they are unranked and currently sitting at number 29 in the nation. So with a win today they are guaranteed to get themselves ranked and back in the national conversation. You will notice my voice is still definitely off today. I'm still recovering from this virus we have going around our house. My wife, who was the one that was in the hospital, thankfully is starting to feel a little bit better. Hopefully we get past this soon and I can get back to pumping content out and my voice comes back to normal. I do now anticipate working and getting this content back out every other day. I'm sorry for the delay. I will say though, this has done a little bit to change some of my plans and we'll talk about that later in the video. It's a big 3rd and 9 here. Let's see what Jack Garola can do. And he throws that one wildly inaccurate. We're lucky that didn't get picked off by Jalen Walker. That drive ended and it was not a pretty one. As you can see, Georgia's starting their freshman quarterback Wickersham in this one. He hands it off to Branson Robinson. And as you can see, Elijah Benson broke his tailbone and he is done for the season. He's an 86 overall sophomore quarterback for him. Kanan Wickersham's only a 68 overall quarterback. And he's a true freshman as well. He has not played at all for Georgia really. Benson must have got hurt late in the last game because Wickersham doesn't really have any stats. He does have 84 throw power, but his throw accuracy is abysmal and it's only a 59, so they're going to have to try to work around that. That's going to cause some big problems for Georgia as they hand it off to Branson Robinson, who loses 1. So this is a 3rd and 10 and Wickersham's forced to throw, and that was a pretty good pass. However, it's dropped. That's a 3 and out. Florida's going to get the ball back quick. Let's see what Jack Garola can do with it. He's throwing quick, and that's Harrison Wallace, the 3rd, who caught it. He fumbled it. Luckily, that went out of bounds, though, so that didn't hurt us that much. We lost a few yards. Fresh set of downs. We give it to Montrell Johnson, and he is stuffed in the backfield. This Georgia defense is stout, and they're going to be very hard to run against. I think this is probably going to be one of our worst rushing performances of the season, and that might hold true for the remainder of the year. We might not have another game that is this bad, but it's 3rd and 10, and Jack Garola throws a wildly inaccurate pass, so we're forced to punt the ball back to Georgia. This game's been all defense so far. Justice Boone provides us with another defensive highlight. That's a great TFL right there. Wickersham's looking to pass. He does find Bell underneath. That's still only a 4-yard pickup. He just doesn't have the arm, I don't think, to throw it deep. It's now 3rd and 9 for Georgia, so how concerned are we? Well, we shouldn't be very concerned with how terrible that pass was. Florida gets the ball back following that punt past midfield at about the 46-yard line or so. ETN picks up 5 on that. That was a solid carry. We're in the gun, and we go straight back to ETN, and that's our 1st down plus a little bit. That's about a 7-yard carry right there. We need to work on getting our ground game a little bit more efficient and better as ETN gets another carry, and that one ends up being another 5-yard pickup. These are all solid, but in college, you'd like to see 6 or 7 yards from a top back. That pass almost got picked off on 2nd down. That was a terrible throw by Garola. So it's now a big 3rd and 5, and he finds Malik Mega for the 1st down and more. He spins out of bounds kind of weirdly on that one. I don't know why he did that, but we got a 1st down. That's all that matters as we go back to ETN right up the middle, and he fumbles the ball. Georgia recovers. That's a big mistake from ETN. We cannot afford to have turnovers against Georgia, even with a backup quarterback in the game. And luckily, his first pass of this drive was another awful one. That 59 accuracy is really showing today, which is a good sign for our defense, and it might help us pull off the upset here. I find it shocking that Georgia does not have a better backup. It's really surprising to see them roll out such a terrible player to back up their star quarterback, but we'll take it as that's another bad pass, and they end up being forced to punt the ball back to us. Let's see if our offense can answer it all this time. On 1st down, we throw a quick little pass out to the flats that went nowhere. We actually lost a yard on that play. So on 2nd down, Garola's looking to pass again. He goes deep. That's 1-on-1, and that gets broken up. Georgia's defense made a great play. Number 14 almost kicked that off on the little tip there, but it's 3rd and 11, and Garola's got a pass, and that one was completely inaccurate. If he hit ETN, that would have been a 1st down, I think. But we bring out Adam Mahalik for the long 50-plus yard field goal, and he missed it. However, that was just wide to the right. It wasn't short, so we have confidence we might be able to hit that later on. They give Robinson a carry, and he breaks Jalen Kimber's tackle and goes for a 1st down on a 9-yard rush. That was a pretty good play from him. The 1st quarter just came to an end. It's still tied at 0 here in Jacksonville, Florida, as this game's been a defensive struggle all along. Neither quarterbacks look very good, so we'll have to see if that can improve later on today. Wickersham's going to take a deep shot to open up the 2nd quarter, and that one didn't work. He completely overthrew everybody on there. So it's 2nd down. They're going to send their tight end in motion over to the left, and they're going to hand it to Branson Robinson, who will go nowhere. Our defense stepped up Robinson made a great play there and forces Georgia into another 3rd and long as they send their receiver Bell in motion. Wickersham standing in the pocket. He throws it. That's picked off by our top corner, Jordan Young, and they do end up getting him. Their tackle did just enough to get him down, but what a huge play from Jordan Young. Florida takes over at the 43-yard line. Garola throws it on 1st down, and that one just wasn't accurate once again. So we decide to let's get the ground game going and go to the read option game. And Jack Garola goes for 14. That's a great carry. If we can get him more involved on the ground, we might be able to make up for the lack of a passing game today as Garola gets another carry on a read option. That's 8 more yards. You'll love to see it. That's perfect. So it's 2nd and 2, and we decide let's pass it, and we throw it underneath to Noah Keeter, who will get the 1st down on a 5-yard reception. Gators are moving the ball well on this drive. They're down to the 15-yard line. They go to Trevor Etienne, who gets another carry, and that one goes for 8. You'd like to see him put a move at the end of that rush. That's probably the biggest mistake I'm making, and somebody pointed it out in the comments. I gotta shout them out for that. They're right. You won't see it for a few more episodes just because I am in the future. When I was sick and unable to record, I did play a bunch of games, so you won't see it until later on, but I am gonna work on that. We are forced to settle for a field goal on this drive, though. That's okay. We get it up and good. We're up 3-0 in this one. If our defense can keep Georgia under control, that will be okay. I'm okay with winning a defensive struggle. Even though I'm an offensive coach, I'd rather win it. Stats matter, but they don't matter in season 1 when you're trying to build the program. It's all about winning. As that one is luckily dropped by a Georgia receiver, so that brings up a 2nd and 10 for Wickersham and Wisely. They're starting to throw some screens and short passes with him, and that one works. Branson Robinson's going down the sideline. He's all the way down to the 35-yard line. That's a big 31-yard reception right there. What a huge play from Branson Robinson, and then they give it to him on the ground, and he has another big gap. He's down to the 10, the 5, and that is going to be a touchdown. Georgia will take the lead. They were pretty smart on this drive. You got to give them credit. They threw some short passes, and then they got the ground game going. Branson Robinson had a wonderful drive. Georgia takes a 7-3 lead. Let's see if Florida can answer. They started off by getting a big passing play to Harrison Walsh, the 3rd. That's a 20-yard pickup from our star receiver. They come out empty formation with Garola looking to pass. He finds Xavier Henderson this time. That's another 1st down and 12 yards through the air. You'd like to see this type of execution the entire game. Garola looking to pass on 1st and 10, and once again, that's another completion, this time to Emmanuel Henderson, and that's 14 more yards. So we line up in the gun with Montrell Johnson next to us and check it down underneath. Emmanuel Henderson gets another reception and another 1st down with a nice little spin move. That's 11 more yards, and then we decide let's just keep throwing it. It's working. We go to Malik Mega underneath. That's a short pickup, but that's going to set up a 2nd and 5 for Montrell Johnson, who gets the carry, and he only goes for 2. That's not ideal, so it brings up a 3rd and 2 for the Gators. We come out in the offset gun. Garola is going to pass, and he finds Xavier Henderson for a 1st down. That's an 8-yard pickup, and we have 1st and goal now. Let's see if we can punch it in. We come out and hand it to Montrell Johnson with a heavy formation, and he goes in untouched for the 4-yard touchdown. Florida's going to retake the lead in this game. That's going to be 10-7. Let's see if Georgia can answer. They have 2 minutes left in the first half to do what they can do to get some more points on the board. Branson Robinson goes for 9. That's a solid carry to begin this drive. But how long can you really keep running the ball if you want to score on this drive? 2nd down didn't work. They're going to have to start passing it, so Wickersham on 3rd and 5 is going to throw it, and he actually finds Tanner Buckley for the 14-yard pickup and a Bulldog 1st down. Wickersham, of course, has to pass. They're down to a minute 30 left, and he just sails that one. He had a receiver wide open. We are so thankful Elijah Benson's not playing in this game because we'd be getting diced up in this situation as Wickersham goes down. That's Shamar James coming in and getting a sack. What a huge play. That sets him back. It's 3rd and 18, and they just run a draw. So now we have a chance to call a timeout with a minute left in this half and get a punt return, and hopefully we can actually add some more points and extend our lead before halftime. Kimber has a pretty solid return going, and look at that, out to the right. He gets the edge, and then he got lit up at the end of that play. Luckily, he stood up healthy, though. So let's see if we can mimic our success from our last drive. 1st down, that was a bad decision. Luckily, it didn't get picked off. Marvin Jones just decided to knock it down. So on 2nd down, Garola in the pocket throwing. He finds Noah Keeter with the corner in front of him, so our tight end was able to catch him. He threw it behind him. Garola on 1st down, looking to pass, and he takes a bad sack. We only have 23 seconds left in the half. That's a big mistake right there. You'd like to see him have better situational awareness as it's 2nd and 17, and he wisely actually throws it underneath to Montrell Johnson. That's a 9-yard pickup. We call our last timeout, so as long as we don't make a mistake here, we should be okay to set up a field goal as Garola wisely throws it away and brings up a 4th and 8. This is going to be a long 55-yard field goal, but Adam Mahalik has the leg and the accuracy this time. It's 13-7 as Florida heads into halftime. And I think it's sad that they're showing our punter in this situation, but he's been pretty active today. So, gotta give Crenshaw a shout out. We don't talk about him much. As we take a look at halftime stats, though, you can see this game's pretty tight. We do have an advantage on offense, but not as much as you would think. I think the big drive from Georgia really helped inflate their stats a little bit. They're just 1 of 6 on third downs. They have 60 yards passing, but I know 30 of that came on the one little screen play. And time of possession wise, we've doubled them up. So I think honestly, it's a little inflated how close Georgia is to us anyway. Now let's take a look at some recruiting news for the week. First up's Cameron White Jr. He's a 3-star middle linebacker prospect out of Texas. He's down to Florida, Hawaii, and Arizona State. He's not great, but like I said, we do need a middle linebacker. Next up on our list is a quarterback, Earl Brown III. He's the number 12 QB in the nation out of Florida. He's a 4-star, 6'4", 201. He's a 69 overall and a -6, but I'd like to see what he can do. Next on our list is Dana Garcia. He's a 6'9", 223 quarterback out of Maryland. He is a 3-star prospect, but he's a +13 and an 83 overall. He's down to Florida, Penn State, and Nebraska. Next on our list is Gayassi Blanks. He's a 5-star and the number 2 halfback in the nation. He is an 81 overall, -3. He's not the fastest guy, but he's a good back that I'd like to bring in. And then we have Josh Stewart, who's the number 7 D end in the nation out of Florida. He's a big bust, I guess, at only a 71 overall, but I still think he'd make an impact on our team. Next up's Travin Elliott. He's a 4-star corner. He's at number 15 in the nation. He's a 72 overall, but he has 83 zone and 88 speed. I think we could develop him. And then we have a 3-star corner, Xavier Hurd, on our list. He's only an 83 speed, 65 overall corner. I'm a little worried about him. He'd be a long-term development type of option, but that's what you get with 3 stars. Next up's a middle linebacker, Dyshawn Crosby. He's a 4-star, number 8 middle linebacker in the nation out of Oregon. He's also kind of a bust at a 65 overall, but we might be able to develop him if we give him enough time. Georgia's going to open up the second half with the ball, though, as we boot it away to them. They just wisely take a knee. Let's see if this Florida defense can hold on in the second half and keep suffocating Georgia's offense. They send their tight end over to the left, and then it looks like Wickersham's making another adjustment. He is gonna throw it. He tucks the run, though, actually, and only picks up a yard, thankfully. That was a pretty good play from our defense. That was wise, trying to get a QB draw in there, as they hand it to Branson Robinson, who will get the first down and more. That's a 14-yard carry. He has been a stud on the ground. He's the star of their offense, and he gets another carry and goes for 4 before Derek Wingo spears him on that one. So it's going to be a 2nd and 6, and they come out in the I formation. Wickersham, running with a 5-step drop, throws it and completely misses Branson Robinson. He's only 4 of 13 passing today. His 59 accuracy is a big issue. I just want to keep pointing that out. However, on that play, he finds Adonis Mitchell. That's a 9-yard reception and a first down for the Bulldogs. Branson Robinson will get the carry on the next play, and we sent an all-out blitz expecting that, and it worked perfectly. They lost a yard. Desmond Watson jumps offside zone, is going to give him 5 free yards as he tackles the center. You hate to see our big man make a big mistake like that. Georgia comes out in the single back formation and tosses it to Branson Robinson. However, Kamari Wilson comes down and makes the play. That's going to set up a 3rd and 5 for the Bulldogs. Wickersham's going to have to pass, and once again, when that happens, he's just not good. Georgia decides to punt it, though, which I found to be a little bit shocking. However, that was a good punt. They got it down inside of the 10-yard line. We take over with a long field ahead of us. Let's see what Montrell Johnson can do. He cut it to the outside and picked up 6 yards. That was a pretty solid carry on first down. He displayed great vision on that play as we come out in the pistol formation and run read option. I kind of think Garola should have handed that one off to Montrell Johnson, as that was just a short gain. So we're back to the pistol formation, and he does hand it to Montrell Johnson. However, that wasn't an option anyway. That was a solid carry, and he goes straight up the middle for another Gator first down. And then we decide to throw a quick little bubble screen out there to Harrison Wallace III. We only picked up 2. That wasn't very effective. So we go back to Montrell Johnson on the ground, and again, that's a solid carry. If he could have cut that back at the end up the middle, though, that might have went for a big gain, as Trevor Etienne checks in on 3rd down, and we hand it to him, and he gets us 5 yards on a Gator first down. I do realize that no matter who I'm using in this, it does appear like I'm using a power back and I'm just trying to truck people. I need to get better about the moves. I'll throw the occasional spin in there, but I need to get better about juking. I'm so used to just trying to do like the little air juke that you used to be able to pull off in this game that I almost forget to try to use an actual juke move, and I think it would help my game out quite a bit, especially on the ground, as Noah Keeter goes for 7 and another first down for the Gators. Garola's going to run some read option here, and that will be a pretty solid 6-yard pickup. I'd like to see him slide, though. We cannot afford to have him get hurt. So on 2nd down, we throw a little screen out there to Xavier Henderson, who breaks a couple tackles and ends up picking up 7 and getting another Gators first down. That was a tough play by him, as Etienne has a big gap up the middle there, and that's gonna be a 13-yard yard rush and a Gator first down. We crossed the 100-yard threshold here late in the third quarter on the ground. You'd like to see us do that a little sooner as Garola checks it down to Montrell Johnson, who's back in the game. That's a 3-yard pickup. Not great, but solid enough for first down. On second down, Garola again looking to pass, and he finds Harrison Walsh III, who does juke and pulls off a good move. He double juked there and got a first down and made a man miss. You love to see it. Henderson comes in motion, and we do not hand it to him. We go to ETN up the middle. That's 7 yards. Once again, that's a pretty solid carry. I'm happy with that. The third quarter comes to an end, though. This is a 13-7 defensive battle so far. Let's see if Florida can hold on. Georgia definitely is at a disadvantage using their backup quarterback, so we'll have to see how that plays out here in crunch time as Jack Garola goes nowhere and actually loses a yard on second down. So it's 3rd and 5, and Garola throws a screen, and that's ETN getting the carry. He cuts inside and goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Florida. They now take a 20-7 lead here in this one against Georgia. That could pretty much seal this game up. However, they decide to go for 2, so it's not going to be 20-7, and they do not convert it. So it's actually going to be 19-7 as Georgia takes over with about 7.5 minutes left in this game. Look at Branson Robinson on this play, though, man. He fought and fought and fought, and then he kind of slid across his O-lineman's back and almost got a first down there. They go straight back to him on second down, and he will just barely get the first down. So they send their tight end in motion over to the right. Wickersham is gonna pass, which you can't rely on him to do well. However, that is a completion. It's only for 1 yard to Arian Smith, though, so you don't love that. Dixon checks into the game, and he will get the carry up the middle. He had a pretty tough run there for DJ Dixon. That's only a 2-yard pickup. He was a top recruit a few years ago in the Dynasty, so you may see him come to our next Madden series that will be happening on Madden 24. I cannot wait to get that one underway. But I'm going to take this and just kind of take a few minutes to add the information in real quick that I wanted to tell you guys about that I talked about earlier. My plans changed due to the sickness in the house and me falling behind. The Bucs series is going to have to basically come to an end. I'm going to try to just tidy it up and sim it out. Maybe I'll do 2 episodes or so, or 3 episodes. I'm sad that it had to end this way, but with everything going on and just being sick and my wife being sick and her ending up in the hospital, it threw us off. It kind of changed my whole idea of what to do with that franchise. I was hoping to get another season played through, or maybe even 2, so that way I could show off some of the players from our old Kent Williams Carousel Dynasty that I had on the channel. So unfortunately, in order to kind of finish out their careers, I'm just gonna have to sim it all out now. I'm gonna try to do, like I said, a couple episodes, and maybe I'll be able to make it work where I just sim a season, talk about that season, do an off season, do it again. And I'm really looking forward to Madden 24. You're going to see prospects from this series going in there. This series is still going to be the star of the channel, though, so don't you worry about that. But I'm just excited to get Madden 24 on the channel as DJ Dixon gets another carry, and that was a solid one for 7 yards. Georgia's quietly moved the ball down the field. They've taken a lot of time to do it, though. Wickersham's been up and down. He's missed some passes, hit some passes. He's been a little bit more consistent on this drive. However, it's 4th down, and Wickersham's going to have to pass to get him the first down, and he checks it down. That's Robinson getting the reception. That's a 7-yard pickup, setting the Bulldogs up with 1st and goal. Let's see if Florida can hold him here as they send their tackle in motion over to the left. He's playing tight end. They're in a big formation. Wickersham rolling to the right, throws it, and Dylan Bell catches that for the 2-yard touchdown. Georgia answers. It's now going to be a 19-14 ball game with 2 minutes and 53 seconds left. Georgia kicking it away, though. We have Jalen Kimber back on the return here. He's going to take that from about the 5-yard line, and he is out. And you look at this. He has a ton of green grass ahead of him. He is going down the sideline, and he outruns number 7. Florida's going to take this one to the house and extend their lead back up in this game. What a big situation for the Gators. It's going to be 26-14 Florida. Now, I do have some bad news after this play. I ran out of space on my USB drive that I save all my recordings to, so we didn't get the end of the gameplay. Luckily, though, that was it for the scoring, and it cut out directly after that. I'm so thankful I didn't lose the punt return, or the kickoff return, because that was a big play for us. I'm going to show off stats in the background like usual. I just can't do it the way I normally do it, so sorry about that, guys. It was a mistake on my behalf. I haven't done it since the very first episode I recorded of gameplay for the channel in the Kent Williams Carousel Dynasty. That one was just a dumb mistake on my behalf. This one here, I just ran out of space, and I should have checked it and should have been paying more attention to it. That's completely my fault. It won't happen again. I make sure every time before I record, I just check my USB and make sure everything's good. So I do apologize for losing the very end of the game, but you didn't really miss that much. Georgia ended up going 4 and out. We got the ball back and then just drained the clock. So You didn't miss a whole lot, thankfully, and I'm very grateful for that, but this was a pretty good game. We are now ranked, as you can see. Florida moves up to number 21 at 7-1. Georgia only dropped to 14, which kind of shocked me. As bad as they looked in this, and knowing that Elijah Benson's done for the season, I really expected Georgia to go much lower than that. They were pretty disappointing, and they already have 2 losses on the season. So now we're going to take a look at some of our Heisman standings. Will Rogers leads the way from Mississippi State. That's not that shocking. In real life, he's actually a pretty good candidate. It depends, though. Their offense is going to be different this year. Hunter Deckers moves up to number 2. Ray Hobbs to 4th. From USC, a quarterback moves up to 3. Trayshawn Ward at 4, and then Buckner remains at number 5. Now let's take a look at your top 25 polls. Penn State leads the way still at 8-0 with their number 1 in the nation, followed by Ohio State, who's also 8-0, and their matchup is next week. So that's going to be a huge game to decide who is at the top and who may or may not make the playoff. Miami comes in at number 3 at 8-0, and then Notre Dame's 9-0 and sitting at number 4. As you remember, Notre Dame's in the Sun Belt in this, so they have an even easier path to get into the playoff if they go undefeated. I will say, with all the different conference realignment that's happened in real life, though, this offseason is going to be a little bit different when it comes to conference relegation and all that, and I'm going to change up the series a little bit. I can't move Oregon and Washington to the Big 12 or the Big 10. As everybody knows, you're only allowed 16 teams in a conference in this. However, I am going to take Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado and put them in the Big 12, and then I'm going to add Notre Dame, I'm going to add Tulane, and I'm going to add a few teams out west to the Pac-12, so that way they remain a power conference this offseason. So there's going to be no conference relegation this year, but I'll explain more on that later in future episodes. Next week, we're going to be taking on 6-3 Vanderbilt, who's unranked. We are a better team than they are, so we should be able to beat them. However, it's going to be a closer contest than what people might expect. Vanderbilt is a B- across the board. We're a B+ across the board. But this is LDJ11. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and I'm out.
And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it.